Imagine a world where your thoughts, your feelings, your very essence could be manipulated against your will. A world where the sanctity of your mind is not your own, but a playground for unseen forces. Where the line between reality and nightmare blurs, and the government conducts horrific experiments on its own citizens. Experiments so dark and twisted that they seem like the stuff of horror fiction, yet they were all too real. This isn't the plot of a dystopian novel. It's the chilling reality of Project MKUltra, a program that delved into the darkest corners of the human psyche, seeking to unlock and control the secrets of the mind. MKUltra, a top-secret CIA program, ran from the 1950s to the early 1970s, its sinister purpose shrouded in secrecy. The program was born out of Cold War fears and the desire to gain an upper hand over perceived enemies. The agency sought to control the human mind, driven by Cold War paranoia and the desire for an unbeatable edge over their Soviet rivals. They believed that by mastering the mind, they could create the perfect spy, the ultimate soldier, or even a weapon of psychological warfare. This quest for control led them down a dark path where ethical boundaries were crossed and innocent lives were shattered. People were subjected to inhumane treatments, often without their knowledge or consent, in the name of national security. The truth about MKUltra remained buried for decades, hidden beneath layers of classified documents and official denials. The program's existence was denied, its victims silenced, and its secrets locked away in government vaults. When the program's horrific details finally emerged, they sent shockwaves through America and the world. The revelations were met with disbelief and outrage as the public grappled with the reality of what had been done in the name of security. This is the story of MKUltra, a stark reminder of the dangers of unchecked power and the importance of safeguarding human rights, even in the name of national security. It serves as a cautionary tale of what can happen when those in power lose sight of the humanity they are meant to protect. It is a story that demands to be told, lest we forget the lessons of the past and risk repeating them in the future. The legacy of MKUltra is a haunting reminder that the pursuit of power must never come at the cost of our humanity. The seeds of MKUltra were sown in the fertile ground of Cold War paranoia. The United States, gripped by the fear of communism, was desperate to find ways to counter the perceived threat from the Soviet Union. This fear was not just about military might, but extended to the realm of the mind. The idea that the Soviets could potentially control the thoughts and actions of individuals sent shivers down the spines of American leaders. As the Iron Curtain descended across Europe, a palpable fear gripped the United States. The division of the world into two hostile camps created an atmosphere of suspicion and dread. Every action taken by the Soviet Union was scrutinized and often exaggerated in the minds of the American public and its leaders. The threat of communism, with its promise of global domination, loomed large. Propaganda from both sides fueled the fire, with the Soviets showcasing their military parades and the Americans holding anti-communism protests. The world seemed to be on the brink of a catastrophic conflict, and the stakes were incredibly high. The Soviets, it was believed, were capable of anything, including brainwashing American prisoners of war. Stories of captured soldiers returning home with altered personalities and loyalties only added to the hysteria. The fear was that the human mind could be manipulated to serve the enemy's purposes, turning friends into foes. In response, the CIA embarked on a desperate search for a way to control the human mind. They believed that understanding and mastering mind control could provide a significant advantage in the Cold War. The agency was willing to explore any method, no matter how unconventional or controversial, to achieve this goal. They believed that if they could master the art of mind control, they could create the ultimate weapon soldiers who would obey any order without question or hesitation. These soldiers would be the perfect tools in the fight against communism, capable of carrying out missions that ordinary soldiers could not. Spies who could extract information without detection, using techniques that would leave no trace of their activities. The idea was to create operatives who could infiltrate the highest levels of enemy organizations and return with invaluable intelligence, and even assassins who could eliminate enemies without leaving a trace. These operatives would be able to carry out their missions with such precision and stealth that their actions would go unnoticed, leaving no evidence behind. MKUltra, officially sanctioned in 1953, was the culmination of this dangerous ambition. The project was shrouded in secrecy, with only a select few aware of its true nature and scope. It represented the lengths to which the CIA was willing to go in its quest for dominance. The project was given a blank check and carte blanche to explore any avenue, no matter how unethical or inhumane, that might lead to the holy grail of mind control. Scientists and researchers were recruited to conduct experiments that often crossed moral and ethical boundaries, all in the name of national security. It was a recipe for disaster, a toxic mix of unchecked power, blind ambition, and a chilling disregard for human life. The consequences of these actions would reverberate for decades, leaving a dark stain on the history of intelligence operations and raising questions about the true cost of security. The CIA's quest for mind control led them to experiment with a terrifying array of methods, each more disturbing than the last. This clandestine project, known as MKUltra, was shrouded in secrecy and driven by a relentless desire to control and manipulate the human mind. The agency's scientists and operatives delved into the darkest corners of psychological and pharmacological research, pushing ethical boundaries to their limits. At the heart of MKUltra was a potent cocktail of drugs, most notably LSD. This powerful hallucinogen was seen as a potential key to unlocking the mysteries of the mind, and the CIA was determined to harness its effects for their own purposes. They believed that by manipulating an individual's perception of reality, they could control their thoughts and actions. The agency believed that LSD, with its ability to alter consciousness and induce hallucinations, held the key to unlocking the secrets of the mind. They conducted numerous experiments to observe its effects, often pushing subjects to the brink of sanity. The vivid and often terrifying hallucinations experienced by those under the influence of LSD were meticulously documented, as the CIA sought to understand and exploit these altered states of consciousness. Thousands of unsuspecting subjects, including CIA agents, military personnel, doctors, and ordinary citizens, were dosed with LSD, often without their knowledge or consent. The results were catastrophic. Many of these individuals were left to grapple with the devastating psychological consequences of these experiments, their lives forever altered by the trauma they endured. Many suffered severe psychological trauma, enduring terrifying hallucinations, psychotic breaks, and long-term mental health issues. The human cost of these experiments was immense, with countless lives shattered by the CIA's ruthless pursuit of mind control. The agency's disregard for the well-being of their subjects was evident in the lasting damage inflicted upon them. But LSD was just the tip of the iceberg. The CIA's insatiable curiosity led them to explore a wide range of other substances, each with its own unique and often dangerous effects on the human mind. They were willing to experiment with anything that might offer even the slightest potential for controlling or influencing human behavior. The CIA's experiments extended to a macabre menu of mind-altering substances, including heroin, amphetamines, barbiturates, and even magic mushrooms. Each of these drugs was tested for its potential to manipulate and control individuals, with little regard for the ethical implications or the potential harm to the subjects involved. They explored the potential of hypnosis, electroshock therapy, sensory deprivation, and even psychic phenomena, all in a desperate bid to bend the human will to their whims. These methods were often used in conjunction with drugs, creating a nightmarish combination of physical and psychological manipulation that left many subjects deeply scarred. These experiments were conducted in secret, often in universities, hospitals, and prisons, under the guise of legitimate research. The true nature of these studies was hidden from the public and even from many of the participants themselves. The CIA's web of deceit was vast and intricate, ensnaring countless individuals in their quest for control. The CIA's web of deceit spread far and wide, ensnaring countless unwitting participants in their twisted schemes. The legacy of MKUltra is a chilling reminder of the lengths to which those in power will go to achieve their goals, and the devastating impact that such unchecked ambition can have on innocent lives. At the helm of this nightmarish project stood a man named Sidney Gottlieb, a brilliant but deeply troubled chemist who would become known as the Black Sorcerer of the CIA. Gottlieb, a fervent believer in the potential of mind control, approached MKUltra with a chilling zeal, viewing human beings as nothing more than lab rats to be manipulated and discarded. Under Gottlieb's direction, MKUltra spiraled further into the abyss. He established safe houses, dubbed laboratories where unsuspecting victims were subjected to unimaginable horrors. He recruited doctors and scientists, exploiting their expertise and betraying their oaths to participate in his twisted experiments. Gottlieb's obsession with mind control knew no bounds, no ethical consideration too sacred to be sacrificed. He even experimented with assassination techniques, developing poisons and toxins intended to eliminate enemies without a trace. His actions would leave an indelible stain on the CIA's legacy, a chilling reminder of the dangers of unchecked ambition and the corrupting influence of power.